welcome to our podcast, Caring in Crisis. I am Dr. Siyana Mahroof-Shaffi, and I would like to introduce my two colleagues who are trauma and stress consultants, who we met together in 2015 during another crisis, a crisis of the European migrant crisis or the refugee crisis. We met on an island called Lesbos in Camp Moria in the Olive Groves. And it was a positive product of that crisis. So over to you, Ulf.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about breathing in crisis. We're going to be talking about the ABC of breathing in crisis: awareness of breathing, breathing with intent, and corona breathing.
Yeah, I mean, because breathing is so much the basis of life, of everything. And we tend to often just breathe and doing it automatically without knowing. But we also can breathe with intent and become aware of our breathing. And there are so many different ways of doing this. I mean, there are pranayamic breathing from the yoga tradition. There are what's called 478 from a medical doctor, Dr. Weil. There's Wim Hof. There's all this different kind of breathing. But we're going to do also a very basic breathing that has come up now during this corona crisis. So we call it this corona breathing.
I like the ABC because ABC is actually one of the ways that a lot of medical teams remember how to practice first aid. And I won't confuse anyone by telling us what our ABC is in first aid, but this will be the ABC of breathing.
Yeah, when it comes to awareness, we do a lot of things all the time, and we were told that we have this autonomous nervous system that takes care of things for us, like breathing, At the same time, breathing is the handle where we actually can reach in and say hello to our autonomous nervous system by becoming aware of it. And then next thing you know, you're doing it intentionally, which actually has proven to enhance your immune system and health and lower your pulse. So let's start by becoming aware. Just breathe in now through your nose. What does that feel like to breathe in through the nose? Notice. And breathe out through your mouth. Now, if your mouth was open, it was fast. If your lips were pursed, like if you were blowing out air from a balloon, it took some time. Notice what happens after breathing when you relax. There's this little space of just nothing or neutral. Breathe in through your nose again, mouth closed. And notice that sometimes the air comes in through one nostril, sometimes through the other, sometimes through both. And just hold your breath. And while you hold your breath, notice that the air is actually being pressed into your heart. So there's more oxygen going into your heart when you hold it after breathing in. And then breathe out. Now we're going to try 3 ways of breathing out. So again, breathe in and hold your breath. And just notice what it feels like. And now let the air out sounding like a truck. That's funny, isn't it? And then you breathe in again. Hold your breath. Open your mouth and breathe out with a sigh. Notice the difference. The body relaxes in a different way. And the third way is actually breathing out with a cough. Now, why would you do that, Siyana?
That makes complete sense to me, Ulf, because, of course, when you breathe our body's kind of programmed to do extra things for ourselves. You think about the purpose of a cough in the upper airways. As soon as you inhale some sort of foreign body, for example, a bit of fluff, a pet fur, or indeed a coronavirus, our body's programmed to do things like sneeze or cough to, at the upper airways, try and deflect it away. And then, of course, along the route, there are the microscopic cilia, which are coated with mucus, which again try to trap these foreign bodies and sort of expel them from the body. And the cough is our kind of the deepest reflex reaction, if you like, for the body to try and engage with that foreign object and give it a big puff of extermination, if you like. Just clear it out of your system. It's kind of your body's instinct to do that. That's how we're programmed.
Wow.
Mm. Yeah, that's so fascinating how this body is constantly trying to help us to keep well and doing things in the right way. But sometimes we kind of, resist it because we feel pain or feel uncomfortable. And then that's even more important to enhance the breathing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but there's this doctor who has been spreading around this way of breathing that we're going to focus on now, which is breathing in, holding your breath, breathing out a number of times, and then coughing in the end to open up the lungs. But also afterwards, he says that you should lie down on your stomach. What's the explanation for that?
The pronation, as we in the medical field know it, is actually a positional way of expanding the bases of the lungs. So traditionally, when you're hunched up and you're either stressed or sick from the flu, for example, all you want to do is curl up and kind of lie on your back in bed, it actually isn't very good for the lung bases. And this is actually where the air is most needed during the context of, in the context of COVID-19 disease. This is where the basal pneumonias start. The fluid starts to collect because air's not getting to the bases of the lungs where our smallest alveoli are. And the cough makes perfect sense to add the air push, as well as, we're talking about pronation. Pronation, of course, puts the position where you're stretching open that part of the lung, which is actually very difficult to stretch open when you're not well.
Gunilla, you told me.
Yeah, sorry.
You told me when we talked about this before. You told me that people don't usually realize that the lungs are in the back. You think that your lungs are in the front of the body because when you inhale, your chest pops out. But basically, your lungs are more in the back, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean it is like, and that's why this position of laying on the stomach and everybody who has been to a doctor sometime, when you listen to your lungs, the doctor will not listen on the front. That's where you listen to the heart, but you listen on the back. They say, take a deep breath and then breathe out to listen to what is going on in your lungs. And so that's why, because the lungs actually expands more on the back than on the front. So all these things come back to this A in this ABC, and that's awareness. It is important for all of us to be aware of the body, and specifically about the breathing. That's why we're focusing on that now. So we're going to do this that has become called the corona breathing, because it is this, and it's a way of breathing with intention. And as Ulf said before, it is like 5 rounds of breathing in, holding the breath, and breathing out. And then after the 5th time, doing this coughing, and then of course coughing in the elbow or behind something.
Yes,
I mean,
cough
cover.
safely.
Yeah, so cough safely where you are. And again, this is not only when you're sick. This is what an exercise you can do also to prevent, these kind of challenges with your lungs and your breathing. And as we said, there are many different ways of breathing, but this one has become known now in this time. So we just do it together.
Yeah, and so you mentioned Wim Hof before. Wim Hof is a Dutch guy who has he's using one of all these breathing techniques, a very simple exercise that you can do daily, and there's lots of videos that you can check out. So if you just want to explore more of it, he has some excellent materials where you do this thing for 10 minutes, and it basically really enhances your immune system, so it can be done actually prior to becoming infected with anything.
Yeah, but and we just do this exercise now.
Yeah,
I think.
let's do it. Let's
so
do
not,
it.
Instead of talking, let's do it. So
Let's breathe.
Yeah, let's breathe, and let's breathe with intention. So now you just sit, or you lay, or you stay where you are, and then you breathe in up to 5, and then you hold your breath, counting on 5, 3, 4, 5, and then you just breathe out. So actually you take a deep breath in, you breathe in, and then you hold your breath on 5, 3, 4, 5, and then you breathe out. And then again you breathe in, And then you hold your breath, counting to 5, 3, 4, 5, and then you breathe out. And then again, you breathe in. And then you hold your breath, 3, 4, 5, and then you breathe out. And then you breathe in a last time, you breathe in. Hold your breath, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you breathe out. And here comes the cough. So now you cough in your elbow. So, and then after doing that, the recommendation is to, again, lay on your stomach in the bed, putting some pillows or cushions on your chest or between your chest and your stomach where your diaphragm is, or laying just on your front as long as you have your breathing open, and stay there for like 10 minutes, just breathing normally.
Yeah.
And some people might be on a sofa, so they could do like a little table with cushions in front of them if they're not in bed.
Yeah, and actually, at the end of the last one, the way he shows it, he actually he doesn't breathe out. He uses all the air in the lungs to cough out. So the last one, you breathe in a really deep breath, and you count off, and then you cough on the out breath.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense also. I mean, whatever, just doing the coughing. I mean, you will get your breath in and then you cough out, you know. So however you do, but it is important to do this coughing in the end.
And
I want to add a little personal story about just how I had to prescribe this very recently to my own daughter, who's recently contracted COVID-19 as a healthcare worker herself. And it was, you know, she's a professional. She knows how important all this is, but it's so important to bring it back to base and to be mindful. And it was probably the only thing as a mother I could actually prescribe for her was, you know, hey, shall we do these breathing exercises together? So I hope that anybody who now listens to this can feel empowered to perhaps practice some of the techniques, especially with the guided voices, the soulful, smooth, relaxing guided voices of Ulf and Gunilla.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah,
so it is like, you know, because the breathing, coming back to this with what actually the word of also of inspire, which is on inspirer in French, and in these words also mean that, you know, by breathing well, we also inspire our lives, because the breathing and making the balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide. Sorry, my English. It's very important, and when we breathe well, this will come automatically.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely place to end, isn't it? I mean,
basically, I kind of like I'm the kind of guy that likes a roundup. So I would say that what I bring with me today is that we have talked about the ABC of breathing in crisis to be able to care in crisis. And breathing in crisis means A, awareness of your breathing. Are you breathing in, out, holding it, letting it go, sighing, coughing? What are you doing? Where is your body? And then the second step is breathing with intention. So breathing with intention means becoming aware of ways of breathing that actually enhance different mechanisms in the body, like getting more oxygen or slowing down or rebalancing or getting the mucus out, how you can position your body. And then the corona breathing that we did, which is 5 breaths in, count to 5 when you hold the breath on the in-breath. As you breathe out, just breathe out. And the last time, do it with a cough in your elbow, of course.
And 2 cycles of that, I believe, to really get those airs inflated and expel the nasty coronavirus.
And after that, just breathe slowly and deeply, lying how? On your belly.
On your belly, on your front, because your lungs expand on your back, you know.
There you go. We learned a lot today.
Yeah, great. So, thank you.
Yep.
For listening.
And share it.
Share it and look forward to joining us again for another episode of Caring in Crisis.